open your hearts, open your spirits to what you're going to hear today. Grab on to at least one idea, because if we don't start spreading the ideas, who's going to?
Everybody fed and watered? Yes. All right. So who were you before the world told you who to be? Every single one of us is born with the capacity to have impact. Every single one of us was born enough, and we were all born free. Free of prejudice, free of greed, free of jealousy, and free of limits. We're going to call this version of ourselves our original. So who is your original? Not the Instagram or LinkedIn bio, not your resume or your business card, the true original you. If the older you get, the more difficult it is to answer that question, you're not alone, and you're not crazy. We are human beings that have been bombarded by influence by virtually everyone and everything that we've come in contact with. The moment we arrived in this world, we have been shaped and molded like Play-Doh by a multitude of sources. Parents, teachers, coaches, siblings, friends, boyfriends, girlfriends, bullies, cartoons, ads, television, Instagram, TikTok, TED Talks. A couple things to remember about that. That list of people, every single person has an agenda. And that agenda is typically to get you to act or think a specific way, whether it's in line with your original or not. The other thing to remember is all those people are in the exact same situation that you are. They're working through a world of influence, trying to reconnect with their original. Dr. David McClellan is a Harvard sociologist, and after years of research and thousands of experiments, estimates that 95% of our behavior is due to our social environment. Not our goals, not our values, our social environment. Which means that who you surround yourself with, who your children surround themselves with, have a significant impact on who they become and how they behave. And we're kind of willing participants in this process because our brains don't fully develop until our mid-20s. So between birth and our second apartment, we're kind of running through life with a half-installed firewall. Teens today, teens spend 45% of their time looking at a screen. They spend, or 50% of teens spend 5 hours or more scrolling social media. That's a part-time job in scrolling. And the average person, we are inundated with 10 to 20,000 bits of influence each day. That's up to 20,000 chances, opportunities for someone or something to nudge your identity, sway your choices, or question your worth. And then we hear things like, you can't. You're not smart enough. You're not athletic enough. You'll never accomplish that. Those things can't be unheard. And those voices roll around in our head until we start to believe that they're ours. And then there's should. Should might be one of the most dangerous words in the English language, right? You should be more like your brother. You should be more like your sister. You should be more like my friend's partner or my friend's kids. Should is kind of like glitter. It sticks everywhere and it ruins everything. When you say the word should, that thought has been implanted by someone else. The next thing that comes out of your mouth has been implanted by someone else. Well, eventually we lose sight of our original and we become a patchwork of shoulds. We trade our authenticity for acceptance. We silence our opinions to fit in. And we chase achievement, but forgot about fulfillment. We find ourselves performing roles, but not living our life. So the thing about influence is that it doesn't just change what we do, it rewires the way we think. Neuroscientists call this neuroplasticity. It's the brain's ability to rewire itself, which means that every time you people please, or every time you silence your voice, or every time you conform, you're not just acting, you're actually programming. Dr. Robert Cialdini puts it this way. He wrote a book called Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion. And he says, we all fool ourselves from time to time to keep our thoughts and beliefs consistent with what we've already done or already decided. Translation of that, we bend to fit into the world, even if it breaks us a little. Now, I'm sure most of you, at some point in your life, have been in a debate or an argument or a discussion with somebody who absolutely refuses to consider your point of view. They do that to keep their thoughts and beliefs consistent with what they've already done and already decided. Dr. Solomon Asch conducted an experiment on influence. And in that experiment, we have a standard line, and then we have 3 other lines. What the group was asked was, identify which line is the same height as the standard line. Pretty easy, right? The catch is that of the 20 people in the room, 19 of them were actors. Only one person was actually the subject. When the actors selected the incorrect line, 75% of the time, the subject also selected the incorrect line, even when they knew it was wrong. That is the power of influence. Most people would prefer to be wrong and to be with the crowd than to be right and to be alone. Well, eventually, life gives us a wake-up call. We have the education, we have the career, we have the mortgage or the home, we have the marriage or the relationship, but yet we somehow still feel empty. We feel unfulfilled. We become really successful at being somebody we're not. And that's not success. That's spiritual identity theft. We've succeeded by society's standards, all the levels and platforms they've given us, but yet we still feel empty. So how do we fix that? How do we get back in contact with our original? It's important to know that it's not really a quick hack. It took us time to lose sight of our original, and it's a process and a commitment to get back in contact. Okay, it's your choice. And you can start by asking, are these beliefs mine? Or were they downloaded without my consent? If your brain was an iPhone, are half of the apps something you never actually wanted? Next is to unplug. Step away from toxic inputs, and that includes people. Mute, unfollow, step away. Your attention is currency, so spend it where your soul earns interest. Super important, I'm going to repeat that. Your attention is currency, so spend it where your soul earns interest. Use your voice. Say the things that you've been silencing, and you can start small. You can say no. Say, I disagree, or that's not who I am. There is power in declaring who you are, not with arrogance, but with certainty. Freedom requires voice. Find your joy. Remember what lit you up before you became a LinkedIn profile. Dance, sing, draw, paint. Find your joy. Embrace your passion. Your joy is a breadcrumb trail back to your original. Repeat. This is not a one-time deal. This is a process. You get to wake up every morning and ask yourself, am I living as my original, or am I playing a role? So what happens when you reconnect with the original you? Everything shifts. Your relationships become more real. Your decisions become easier. Your confidence doesn't need defending. And your energy becomes magnetic. And probably the coolest thing is that you inspire other people to do the same thing. It's not that you feel perfect, it's that you finally feel whole. Not because you've accomplished everything, but because you're no longer trying to be everyone. See, there's no such thing as perfect people, and we don't need perfect people. We need real people. We need people like you. Unfiltered and unapologetically free. So don't ask yourself, who should I become? But instead ask, who am I when no one is telling me who to be? And when you find that answer, you found your freedom. Thank you.